I saw everybody in the city running around doing that. I judged some of the plates inside as well, and it helps when you have an appetite too. But just a great event and a great cause, because that all goes to the Winter Wonderland. So it's a great idea to have that ahead of time. And I know you've been pushing that for a while. I'm glad it got off the ground and got going, because it was, I thought it was very successful, and I think it's going to be even better next year. And that's what I heard from a lot of folks as well, is that I'll be here next year, both from people that were there and those that wanted to be there and weren't able to. So, hey, when did this happen? Is this new? Is this, I don't remember. And so I think you're onto something, Chief.
Yes, sir. And just on the adjustments that we're going to make, one for sure, because I'm sure some of you were told, because I got told several times, was next year we have a fire truck prepared to just kind of spray the water down a little bit.
Oh, yeah, the dirt.
Because there was some dirt, there was obviously some dirt, and maybe some of them turned in their fajitas a little saltier than what they would have wanted. But yeah, that's one of the major changes that we'll do next year for sure.
Right. That's a little thing. Boy, the groups that were playing, I thought were good.
Yeah, a lot of them are students. They have a coalition
Yeah,
for Tejano
yeah.
music, and I got them. So we had people from the instructor for Mercedes, I can't remember his name, but I know he does the conjunto, and then San Benito, Harlingen. So we had people from different areas and conjunto players. Yeah.
All right. Other comments?
So, Chief, I know I went out there Friday night for the hospitality, after our victory, and it was a great event. You all were preparing for Saturday. The teams were out there preparing. I got the chance to go out there and walk around Friday night for a little bit, talk to some of the teams, and then Saturday as well. Went out there for a while. Did visit with some of the teams. Everybody was very, very pleased with the event. Everything that I heard from the people was positive, and they all said that they will be back next year. I did hear, Mercedes ISD say, that they were cheated, but I'm not gonna say who the cooks were,
They might need to change their cooks.
Yeah. So no, but overall it was a great event. Like Commissioner Saldana said, the music was great. To see the students out there, with the conjunto programs, getting that going. Our culture, keeping that going. It was great, to get them involved as well.
So I was out there for a good time, and those cookers are very, very finicky people.
Oh yeah.
For to be out there as long as I was and not hear one single complaint. I think that's I did hear one, the dust one thing, but that's a little one. That's a little thing, but everybody was happy and they were glad to be there, and they, I thought it. I don't know why there wouldn't be even more teams next year.
Sure.
So good luck to that next year.
I would I'm going to concur with my fellow commissioners here as well. I heard nothing but positive things, Chief, and so great event. I saw a lot of the need there, which I think the cause of it goes for a good cause.
Sure.
And for the children, I think that's always a plus. So great job.
No, I mean, you guys are pretty much said everything.
Everything has been said.
Yeah.
Well, you've got a whole bunch of fans up here, so congratulations, and anything we can do to help you next year, let's do it again.
Mayor Pro Tem, Honorable Commissioner, I make a motion to move up item 9D.
All right, there's a motion to move up item 9D. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. Ayes have it. Let's move then. Thank you, by the way, Chief. A great job to you and to the entire PD, fire, and everybody else that was a part of that. 9D, okay, are you ready for us? That's discussion, possible action regarding city support for Catholic Cemetery. Edwina, welcome and thank you for being here.
It has its days. They're watching online.
Celebrating.
Announcements.
Yes. Thank you.
Everybody has different. something for you to look over. You can be looking at the pictures while I'm talking up here. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for your time. My name is Edwina Salazar Trevino. I am the treasurer for the Mercedes Catholic Cemetery Association. I'm here to share a brief history of our story and the restoration of Our Lady of Mercy Catholic Cemetery. In 1992, my mother and her sister began having conversations about the resting place of their parents and all of their loved ones. And as you can see from the pictures, the cemetery was unkept. Some of the pictures you can see where the cemetery was unkept and in disarray at that time, and it had been that way for many years. So their heartfelt concern and determination led to the formation of what is now the Mercedes Catholic Cemetery Association, and it was officially established in 1994. So in summary, there were many cleanup efforts, as you can see from the pictures, that were carried out by local residents and the Homer Salinas Rehabilitation Center. Food was generously donated by local eateries and community members. We also received contributions and support from many entities, including Attorney Juan Gonzalez, Rudy Salinas Accounting Firm, Klausner Construction, Rudy Garza Funerals, Alonso Trevino and his family, Mario Dominguez State Farm, the Diocese of Brownsville, the American Legion, JA Post 172, and the City of Mercedes. And those are just to name a few. There were so many. So over the 3,000 of those that we held dear that are resting in the cemetery, our goal was to maintain and upkeep the cemetery. And it is our contribution to the community as an association. But more importantly, it is about respecting the graves, remembering God's promise, and honoring our loved ones and our veterans. For Mr. Homer Sergio Garcia, our maintenance guru, if you go by the cemetery on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays in the morning, he only works 3 half days. And Mr. Garcia, Mario Dominguez, and myself, these efforts span for over 33 years. So I was very young when, so one of you can see my picture in there. It doesn't even look like me. I showed it to my son. He didn't even recognize me. I don't know if that's good or bad. Yes.
Very pretty.
There is a picture of a beautiful young lady. Is that you?
That her?
If she's beautiful and young, yeah, that's me.
There you go. That's you.
Anyway, so that was before children, okay? I'll blame it on that. So, okay, so in the midst of all these years, there was a historical marker declaration that reads as follows, and one of you has a picture of that. It reads, the historical marker, if you go by the cemetery, it's there right by the altar, and this is what it says. The town of Mercedes was platted by the Capisayo Town and Improvement Company in 1907. The Oblate Provincial Council in Austin requested that the company provide a site for a Catholic church, and Our Lady of Mercy Catholic Church was dedicated in February 1909. In December of that year, Carmen Nava Garza was the first to be interred on this site in a marked grave. The Capisayo Company gave 4 acres, including this site, which is where the cemetery is at, to the Brownsville Diocese in 1910, and the cemetery was named for the parish church that existed at that time, which was Our Lady of Mercy Catholic Cemetery. Our Lady of Mercy Cemetery served those who were not buried on private ranches outside Mercedes. With more than 2,341 marked and 56 unmarked sites, the cemetery continues to serve Mercedes. And the marker was erected in the year 2000. So you don't have a list there, but I'm going to go over the original members from 1994. And the ones I'm going to name first are all deceased. Okay? Consuelo Cantu Garza, Estela Cantu Salazar, Elida Treviño, Angie Treviño, Rutilio Rudy Garza Jr., María Tonchilial, Abel Leal Sr., Bernardino Nino Cantu Sr., Anne Anita Cantu, Humberto Beto Garcia, everybody remembers Beto Garcia, Rogelio Roy Elizondo, and the three that are still living is J.R. Lorenzana, myself, and Mario Dominguez Sr. Those, us three are the only living ones from the original group that was working at that time on this project. So the current officers are, President is Mario Dominguez Sr., Vice President is Dr. Fernando Castillo, Secretary is Diana Dominguez, and Treasurer is myself. Are there any questions? Comments?
Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And it's helpful to understand sort of the history and where it all began. And I thought that would be a good way to get the discussion started today. I think
Sure.
just to, what brings us here today is that, as I understand, and you can correct me if I misspeak, is that the cemetery is for the most part full. There's not, and so the way cemeteries work is that you sell plots, right? And you have revenue, and then that revenue is used to provide maintenance for the cemetery.
That's correct.
So, so with the cemetery being full, the revenue stream for that has slowed significantly. How much, and so now we're at a point where we're trying to figure out exactly how to proceed with ensuring that cemetery is cared for, and what, if any, role the city might have in that. We did a little homework, right? Edwina and I have been talking about this for quite a while now, and we had meetings with the city of Westco, and we kind of talked through a lot of different scenarios with the city manager, with the city attorney as well, to explore what the legalities might be there and all of that. We've run, and thank you, Marty, for helping that. We ran title searches and all that because we're trying to figure out exactly what we can and can't do legally, totally separate from what we can and what we might want to do. So we find we might be constrained by law. We need to know that up front. But what we did find out was that, and you mentioned it, that they're the land company, the Capisayo Land Company, and that's part of the same marker that's at Our Lady of Mercy. I think maybe those were all placed at the same time, but the bottom line is we don't know who owns that thing. The title, the deeds are sketchy and incomplete, and sometimes they are well, I can't think of the word now, but there's no clear owner. One set of records may show the city, another set of records show the Catholic Association. You say the land was conveyed to the diocese in 1910, but there's no record that I've seen. There may be a record out there, but there's no record I've seen of that. I've been told that there was a reporting relationship between the cemetery and the diocese, which would suggest the diocese either owned it or had possession of it at some point in time. I don't know that the city has ever really taken a formal role with it, but our previous discussions were that we didn't really want, we don't want this, we want to help with a solution going forward. And I don't know, when we don't want to kick the can down the road, that's what the mayor and I talked as well, and we want to see if there's a way we can help with some kind of a permanent solution. So I don't know what that would be, but what I understand is that the city can help if we wish to. but at the same time, what do we do long term? You know, because that might be a way of a temporary sort of a fix. We went and spoke to the folks in Weslaco. That I talked to. We went and met with the city of Weslaco. I don't see Mando here, but in Weslaco, the Parks Department is the one that's responsible for the cemetery. So it's probably a good thing he's not here. You know, they kind of explained their whole scenario, and McCaleb was there as well from McCaleb Funeral Home, and he kind of gave us some ideas, suggestions on what he might suggest. So I'm just going to open the floor up to any questions that y'all may have, and and maybe give you an opportunity to suggest some things to us that we might want to consider.
Well, so help me here, understanding the conveyance of this message or this agenda item. So we're looking for some type of funding to help for the maintenance
Correct.
of the cemetery? Okay. And at some point, the city of Mercedes used to help?
Initially, when the first cleanup took place
Yeah,
between
kind of like a,
92 and 94, they lent us a hand,
mhm,
you know, with brush pickup and that kind of thing.
yeah,
But there was never a formal
like a
agreement.
formula, okay. As far as my concern, and it's not even a concern, I would be in total favor of the city of Mercedes helping with somewhat help out a little bit, but I know there's some legal aspects to some of these things. So I would like to love the help as far as or getting the city involved, because a lot of our relatives, a lot of our ancestors are there as well, and from the community. And so I think it's important, because in the end of the day, at some point, we're going to be there. At some point, at the end of
That is true.
and so, but if the city can Mercedes, I think if we can maybe, from my 2 cents, is look into it if we can, and if we can, great. Let's figure out some type of number and how we can help. I was doing a small little research. I know there is it a historical marker or not?
Yes.
There, okay. So I know there's also like the preservation grant. There's a historical, or the Texas Historical Commission, the Historical Cemetery Perseverance grants. Maybe with some of those monies, because of the culture, because of the age. I mean, it's 1907. That's almost the start of when Mercedes started. It's awesome. And because of the year and because of the culture, and it's beautiful. And I do agree. And I have a vision where it's very cleaned up. It would look nice. And so I would say maybe also seeing what grants are there available. And I know we have a wonderful librarian and her staff. They love the history. Maybe they can help at some point look and research how maybe some of these grants can go towards the cleanup. But that's from me. But I'm all for it. And but again, I'm only one vote and one small percent of this commission.
So I'm all in for it. You know, I do have my great grandparents there, some aunts, uncles. As a matter of fact, a few years ago, myself and some of my family, we got together at my great grandparents' tomb, and they have the statue there, and we sanded it down, we cleaned it up, and repainted it, you know, to bring some life back into it. You know, make sure that they, you know, that they're not forgotten,
Right.
because that's, you know, that's where we come from. And you know, not only was it myself, you know, that they were my great grandparents, but my cousin's kids. So it was their great grandparents that were out there. You know, they were out there, you know, they didn't get to meet them. You know, I didn't get a chance to meet my great grandparents, but you know, the younger generation, like, oh wow, you know, they're, you know, this is where my great grandparents are, you know, and they were taking time out of their day, you know, taking a little bit of pride, to give back, just to kind of clean up the area, So, I do see, that, there is a lot of work to be done, and, if there's any way that we can help, I'd be more than glad to support it.
I don't know, Commissioner, you have anything you want to add? I don't know that we necessarily have a solution right now and here tonight, but I did want to get, I guess, the conversation started, and that's why it's worded the way it is, discussion and possible action. Maybe, if there was something we thought we want to do, we could. The range of what we could do goes all the way from nothing, saying, good luck, Ms. Trevino, and all the way to the city getting into the cemetery business, which I don't know that there's that would be a whole complicated sort of a task, but
Luckily, our Parks Director's back.
yeah, but there's a danger in leaving the meeting,
Yes,
Mr.
the
Vial.
logistics of
But- go ahead.
upkeeping and maintaining
Yes.
records and all that,
Yes, yes.
it's a huge task in itself.
Mm-hmm.
I am the contact person. Before me, it used to be my mom. My mom passed away in 2019, and I just kind of inherited it, and so when I'm gone, I don't know who's going to do it. So, maybe somebody will take over, but we don't want to leave that to chance, and we want to make sure that it doesn't become an eyesore as it was before 1994. So that's the purpose of getting this conversation going.
You can elect to not answer this question if you'd
Okay.
like, but one thing we can do is provide some amount of short-term assistance until we can figure something out longer term, because I don't know that we have anything in any formal plans for this tonight, but what's your budget, and how short are you all? Where are you short in help? How can we help with that? And understanding that that's probably just a short-term thing.
Right. Well, our budget is about $3,000 a month,
Okay.
and that includes salary to the two gentlemen that work there, 3 half days. Then we have equipment, of course, lawnmowers, weed eater, gas, oil, blades, Roundup. There's just a lot of, but it's about $3,000 a month. That's our budget. Sometimes it's less because we don't have the funds, so we have to cut back on the work. And
Pray
then
for no rain.
Pardon?
Pray for no rain.
Well, yes, no rain. That we don't have to cut the grass, right?
Right.
But yeah, that's what our budget is. That would be really comfortable. But we do have some patrons that donate yearly. Most of them are not from Mercedes. They're from out of town: San Antonio, Corpus, Houston, Dallas, McAllen, Mission. But they're very few. Very few.
Well, my preference would be to find a way to help the association to do its work, because I think y'all have done a great job over the years, and I'm just so glad that there's somebody there doing that. Perhaps we can add this to the discussions for budget next year, Mr. Pettis. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know if that needs to be in the form of a motion or not. That's probably one thing we can do is add it to the list of things that we'll consider, and that doesn't encumber us for this year, but you say $3,000 a month, so we, I don't know what that would involve, but legally I think we can help if we want to, correct?
Yes, the only research that I would like to do is just because it's a certain religion,
Right.
just to make sure that.
There's no problems with that.
Yes. But we do have other organizations within the city, like KMB and other organizations we can get with. And I know the Friends of the Library is a 501c3. So we'll explore our options. I know that we've talked before. But we kind of need to get a feasibility study to the actual amount, so when budget cycle does come and we can do it.
How does that sound?
That sounds fine. And we do have our, tax returns that we filed this year, with Rudy Salinas, so we could get an actual figure of what the expenses are, if y'all needed that.
Yes, if you could forward those, that would be helpful.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion for us to go ahead and explore the possibility of support for the next year's fiscal budget, of course, pending legal review, if that's a possibility. And that way we can go ahead and pan out those details.
Second.
Okay. Motion's made by Commissioner Martinez, second by Commissioner Garcia. Any discussion on that motion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye. All those opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Vino.
And if y'all
Thank you,
need
ma'am.
another meeting, just make it after 5.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go back to the regular order of the agenda, which I believe is item 7A and B. I don't know if we want to take those separately. I guess we take them separately. Item 7A, approval of minutes for the meeting held December 16th.
Mayor Pro Tem, I make a motion to go ahead and approve the minutes of meeting held December 16, 2025.
The second? All right, motion is made by Commissioner Martinez, second by Commissioner Garcia. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. 7B, approval of the First Amendment to the interlocal cooperation agreement between the County of Hidalgo and the City of Mercedes regarding MV CPA Task Force FY 26. Sergeant?
I recommend approval.
Hmm?
I recommend approval. I reviewed it.
Okay.
An amendment.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Commission. So obviously, going over the amendment for the task force.
All right.
Just a brief on it.
The number changed a little bit and it,
Number changed just a tad little bit,
Yeah.
but I want to show you the benefits, how
Okay.
significantly our auto thefts have gone down. 2024, we're at 55 auto thefts, and majority of them were obviously coming out from the outlets. As of last year, they went down to 19. And of course, considering all the auto thefts is not always going to be your typical thefts that happen at the outlets or other businesses. They're also considered from, let's say you have a family member lend out the car to the son or a relative or something like that. You know, they'll report it, unauthorized use of motor vehicle, which falls under that category. But, you know,
It's
just
still a
stating
dramatic
that-
drop though, from 55 to 19, wouldn't you say? That's pretty good.
So this task force has been really good with us, obviously with the assistance with other agencies. You know, they're always in communication. They're always obviously out to
Mayor Pro Tem, I make the motion to approve the First Amendment of the interlocal cooperation agreement.
I'll second.
motion is, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
And good work on the,
Thank you, Lieutenant.
on the task force.
Great job.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Item 8A, city manager update on Realplex.
So, give you a quick background on the city of Mercedes, is, if you don't know by now, it's positioned to experience a significant residential growth in the next year and a half. Every week that there's additional interest in more development. Most of it, or a lot of it, has been in the outskirts of the city and wanting to voluntary annex. In fact, we got today another 50 acres that are intending to